You're listening to SM Media, the home of exclusive West of Scotland Football League content. Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media West of Scotland Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It's an absolute pleasure to be your host as always. Our special guest this week, I'm delighted to be joined by the Easterhouse FA manager Mark MacKay. Mark, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for having us.
It's an absolute pleasure. How are we?
Good. I knew this was happening for a couple of weeks now when we'd spoken about what date we could do, and all last week I'm going, just don't get beat. Try and get a point in the board. Don't go on me 4 defeats. Don't go on me 4 defeats. So managed to get a point in the board. Should have been more, but it's our first ever point in what's classed as senior football. So we'll take the positive from that. We'll go to, well, we've got a free week this week because it's Scottish Cup ties.
Yeah.
But we'll look towards Storm now on the 3rd of September as it stands, to sort of try and kick on and keep going.
What was it like? Obviously, we're one of 6 clubs who joined the 4th division this season. What was the kind of decision making process to join the league, and was it an easy decision to obviously make that step up?
Well, I think Easterhouse Academy as a whole had planned and tried to do it last year,
right?
And sort of I just missed the deadline. So I'm from the area. I knew sort of I had plans to sort of go forward and try and enter the sort of a West of Scotland. Only thing it wasn't great about it was the league went quite long last season, so they don't have the AGM until 2 weeks after the last game. So ourselves were probably most disadvantaged with that because we weren't really a team. There was East Hall amateurs that sort of played under the Easterhouse bracket or with a chance to move to that, but we didn't really get confirmed until the 25th of June, 25th, 6th of June time, so it's only 4 weeks before the season.
Yeah.
The club were slightly hesitant in case they didn't get in, even though they were told, oh, look, you're going to get in, but they didn't want to go and waste or go and try and put everything in place and then something happens. So that sort of held us back a wee bit. The biggest issue that we have, and you can see it at the moment, is we're the only team that's joined that weren't a team.
Right.
And that's been the biggest thing. So even when I was speaking to boys before it was sort of confirmed, I'm going, are you interested in this idea? And they're going, you aren't even a team. Why do I want to come to you? And I'm going, look, we'll get confirmed on this date, hopefully, and everything will go. So we're sort of a wee bit behind. I said that to the boys. I still feel we're probably 3 or 4 weeks behind, not in terms of preparations, but just in terms of getting up to speed, in terms of this level. To be honest, people might look at it and go, "Oh, it was 6 amateur teams that come in," but if you look at the teams that done it last year, like your BSCs that have now won back-to-back games, and various other ones, Glenvale have got a good side going, and it's been interesting. Standard's been, I'm a bit shocked at it, to be honest. It's better than I thought. I wasn't quite sure what I was getting into, to be honest. But no, it's been an interesting 4 weeks, that's for sure.
And the 4 games, obviously, you said you picked up your first point on Saturday at home to Campbelltown. What was the kind of plan after 4 games? Was it obviously, has it been a disappointing start? As you say, it's just been obviously blended, kind of getting bedded in and new players and things like that. Like, what's it been like for you to the start of the season so far?
I think, no disrespect to BSC, who we lost the second game to, I think that's been my biggest disappointment. We weren't good on the day at all. But if we look at the games sort of individually, boy Stefan Graham that plays at West Park, played at Sheffield, very good feet. Scores a very, very good goal. From his point of view, I think we can defend it better and we let him cut into his right foot and he puts it in the top corner, which is fine. But West Park scored their second goal of that game in the 86th minute, I think.
Right.
We're sort of trying to go forward. West Park showed it on the VO camera thing. centre midfielder gets the ball, looks to turn and tries to play an eye a needle, and you can see it clear as day. The left back goes to try and go and support. A couple of minutes to go, it's fine. You expect that, and we cut it out. West Park cut it out. Play the boy wide right, lightning quick. Connor Irvin, I think his name is. Lightning quick in there, goes in 1-on-1, slips under the keeper. So beat 2-1, beat 2-0, sorry, but overall they had chances. We sort of had chances. So I'm going right. West Park were favourites for the league. Good side, done well. Then we had a really, really good week at training. Getting into the BSC game, and we were 1-0 up, hit the bar, and then 47th minute we gave away a penalty. It's a penalty all day. I've got no qualms about the decision. It's a penalty all day. Young boy gets rolled to bring him down. In the run up to the penalty, there was a drop ball. And what happens is, now it's uncontested, not like years ago. So
Yeah.
drop to our centre midfielder, knocks it to our left back. Left back, near right midfielder comes to tackle him. He goes round him, and a boy that from the drop ball incident had been off the park getting a drink of water. Runs back on the park, gets the ball, plays the ball over the top. We can't do it.
No.
Am I right at half time? I'm moaning at the referee. He's like, I didn't see where he came from. Then when we had a chat about it, he's going, but I genuinely made a mistake. I'm like, that's fine. Look, mistakes happen. But I'm now going in speaking to 11 guys who didn't play great the first half, and I said that to them. Well, one each. But it was deflating because of the nature of the goal. Second half, BSC, in fairness to them, started very, very well. We changed shape a wee bit. Centre midfielder gets the ball, plays him through. We centre forward runs through, finishes it well, gives offside. Miles onside. No Miles, but he's onside. We're right in line, onside. From that incident, the free kick, they got the putt and score. So from being 2-1 up, you're 2-1 down, and you're going, right, it's just one of the days. But we didn't deserve anything from the game at all. We didn't. And then went into Glenvale, 1-0 up again, hit the bar. Glenvale had some chances. They scored a cross. The boy genuinely crosses it, go to hit it in, crosses it right over the goalkeeper, nothing the keeper can do. And then we lose a goal in the 89th minute. And you're going, Jesus, where do you go from here? And then sort of we were 1-0 down on Saturday after 6 minutes. Once again, it was a penalty. So the referee got it bang on, it's a penalty, clips his heels, and then we score a goal. Keeper had a few good saves, dear keeper. We end up getting one each, but we could have lost it as well. Our wee goal Scott made a fantastic save. I think we looked dead nervous. Said that to the boys. I think if we'd have held on against Glenvale, we don't lose a last minute goal from a mistake, you probably go and win the game on Saturday. No disrespect to Campbelltown, but a long travel for these guys. Sort of a truck and a bus. You know what it's like. They've not really got time. I believe West Park the week before up there stayed the Friday night.
Right.
I mean, funds like that. You know what I mean? So, but that's where we're at. To be honest, I think probably looking at it over the 4 games, I think we probably should be sitting in 4 points rather than 1. That's my honest assessment of it. I think we deserved at least a draw against Glenvale, and I think we deserve to win Saturday.
We'll move into talking about the action over the weekend, and we'll obviously get your thoughts in the 4th Division later on, and we'll hear about your upcoming fixtures for the next few weeks. But it was obviously a cup week. There wasn't as many games as there usually is. The South of Scotland Challenge Cup was on. Any results catch your eye in that? I'm just looking off the top of my head the results here. Thorn, the team in your league, going to Greenock in 1-3 now. That's a massive result.
That is a massive result for Thorn. Did Greenock underestimate them? Did Greenock think the 4th Division? End of the day, it's a cup game. It can go either way. We've seen it over the years of football. You go and you sit in, or you go and do very, very well. I also remember a couple of years ago we played Darvel. Darvel were just coming into the Michael had just taken over, came to the Vale, everybody was expecting us to get a down. They lost 2-0 in the day, but acquitted ourselves very, very well during the game. And that's up to Greenock. That's a great result for Thorn, because Thorn in their league have only won 1, lost 2. So so far I think Thorn. So it's a great result for them. So it's great that that's who we play next. It could have wouldn't mind it went the other way, to be honest. Oh, that's a great result.
Just thought, like, looking through some of the results, I'm obviously, well, wish for best the player at Benburb who get severely injured as well. I heard it was a really bad injury, and I'm just wishing them all the best. But Beeve beating St Anthony's 8-1, Pollock beating Eglinton 6-0, Rutherglen beating Fanart 4-0, Darvel and Hurlford went to extra time. A late Scott Ferguson goal got Darvel the victory. Cambuslang going to Gretna. I know Gretna obviously will be, again, disappointing result for them, but Cambuslang, I mean, I think that was badly needed for confidence after the start they've had in the league.
I think Cambuslang, I think they've had a bit of a change of players. I know a few left. Keelan Christie left, and obviously the main one that left is the boy Scott Williamson.
Yeah.
You don't score goals, don't win games.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Especially in the Premier League, or the Premier Division. If you don't do that, so Cambuslang, who have 3 for 3 in the league and lost, sort of only scored 1 goal in the games, then to go away to Gretna, I think it's crazy. I've always said this, but I think when COVID happened, we had a chance to fix Scottish football. We should take away this glass ceiling. You shouldn't win the league and play a playoff.
Yeah.
I don't think you should get 2 chances when you finish bottom of the league to stay up. I think if you look at even taking our 4th division, I think all the leagues, I think it comes to even some of the senior leagues. I think East Stirling at one point were bottom of the league for 10 years in a row.
Yeah.
Never ever went anywhere. I think that was a chance when all the COVID happened. I think we had the chance to change the SPL. For me, should go to maybe 18 teams, push everybody up, let teams like Darvel, Auchinleck, Kilbirnie, Glencairn, whoever it may be, have all got a licence. Let them all move through the pyramid. Let them all move through properly. Let teams like the bottom leagues like Kirky Rob due to get a new park. You've got Clyde Bank. You've got teams within these structures that I fully believe are well capable. Bonnie Rose, we played them last year with Athley, we lost 1-0. We missed a penalty, they scored a penalty. I think that there's definitely teams within that. And I think when the voting happens, it's the teams like Albion Rovers and Cowdenbeath last year also got relegated. Brecon were one of the teams. They sort of stifled what we should have done, and we should have opened the pyramid totally up. It should have been you win the league, you go up. No to the playoffs. Increase the leagues a wee bit. If you look at even Hearts, even going to the Premier League, Hearts this year, European football for the first time to Christmas, went out and brought Shanklin back, who's going to score goals for them, going to make them a better side. So I think that was a proper chance to fix Scottish football, and I think it's a chance that we missed drastically.
Yeah, I think it's hard to disagree with that. I think the Lowland League fiasco over the summer was a perfect example of why I think a lot of teams up in that league, obviously I know a few teams in that league, I think they're hesitant. I think they know that if they go down, it's going to be a long time before they come back up. And that's what, again, I've said it for the 3 weeks in a row, and I'm about, obviously, 3 Rovers. Like, do they think, obviously, going into the West is a better level of competition than the South, and it's probably a better chance to go through the pyramid, as opposed, because you know what it meant, like, the South champions, for example, I think would always be third best in a playoff with the East and West champions.
Yeah.
So do they think it's better level of competition to go into the 4th division and build their way up through the leagues? Because they're more than capable.
Yeah, well, that was another one. I believe their infrastructure and that doing at their parks meant to be really, really good. I'm really looking forward to it. I wish we were going earlier than November when the park was probably decent. That grass park, 5th of November, it might have taken a few doings, but even like see and coming across, nobody knows anything about them. I believe they've got a very good budget. They signed a lot of boys for the Lowland League, and they're taking boys in, and which is going to be good. You've seen it, as you say, they're maybe 4 years behind in terms of can they go right through the divisions.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably kicking themselves now that they didn't jump when Bonington came, and they could have missed the bottom 3 divisions.
Yeah,
potentially, depending on where they would have finished within the structure. But yeah, it's interesting to see how that one pans out. To be honest, I know they've started very, very well, and they're winning games. Will it eventually the travel sort of a winter months, will that affect them? I think when I looked at our league, I think there's only three or four grass parks. So there's not going to be a lot of.
I actually thought that. Like, I think
there's not a lot of games off. I don't think three for one. Harmon, I believe, are playing at St Anthony's, which is also a good part.
Yeah.
Snow or ice. Snow or ice is the only real thing that puts St Anthony's off. Campbelltown, I believe, is a grass park, and Thorn's been a wee bit all over. I think they played at St Roch's on Saturday against the Rosshall. The week before, Rosshall 0, and the game before that they played on a Friday night. I think it was at Johnstone Burgh.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure where Thorn are going to play, but over the piece, I think it's mainly Astros in our league. So certainly for the Campbelltown boys that are going to make that travel all the way down every week, it's going to be a long season, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a fascinating league because I think there's a few teams you don't know much about, but I'll get your thoughts on that at the end. Cumnock 3, Petershill 1 in the Premier Division. There's only one game in the top league this weekend. Jordan Moore with a double and Mark McLennan as Cumnock go top with 9 points from 4 games. I've been really, really impressed with Cumnock so far this season. I know they obviously did that last season at Hurlford, but going to Darvel, the only game this week in the league that was a perfect opportunity to get a bit of kind of breathing space at the top of the league. And Jordan Moore again, who every week I think we talk about him, his goal scoring record since going to Cumnock's been unbelievable. What's your thoughts on Cumnock?
They're doing well. They also think there was a change of manager in the middle of last year, and they could have went down, but I think that was more to do with the 7 going down, and there was a lot of teams were getting dragged into it, and Rob Roy were the same. Rob Roy they're sitting second at the moment, unbeaten still, and would go top if they won the game in hand, and we've got them in the cup, which is fantastic. Maxie will love that. But they're another one. It's good to see that it's Auchinleck have no started great. As well, people are saying so. It'll be interesting to see sort of where the whole season goes in terms of. I think there's been last year. I felt there wasn't a lot last summer. Not a lot of people moved transfer wise. I thought most people had their squad and they had the long layoff of COVID. They weren't quite sure were boys going to come back, were they at the level. And I think you seen more transfers during the season last year than you probably did any other ones. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, they maybe came in at a right time last year. They've had a good summer, maybe chance to implement a few things that you want to do yourself. And ultimately, they've went out. They've got, as you say, they've got 9 points for 4 games, and you keep winning the Premier. You're already sort of a 9 away from Petershill and Cambuslang. You're already making stretches which some teams could struggle this year.
At Petershill, I've got a bit of a worry for them. I think there's been a lot of transition. Obviously, Willie coming in over the summer, losing a lot of players like Stephen Docherty going to Pollock and Ronan Sweeney going to St Cadoc's. I think they will struggle, and I just think it's going to be tough for them to kind of. There's obviously, if you want to kind of make a good start, it's important if you want to stay up, and I think they'll be hoping for a wee boost sooner rather than later.
I think obviously the boy Kinnebra came for Gareth Cairn, who was expected to win the league last year. It was sort of a strange appointment. We thought Gareth Cairn going to go up. I think it was St Cadoc's that won their league. I think
Cambuslang.
Cambuslang won it. They all the goals. St Cadoc's were second in that. And as I said, another one with a big budget. To be honest, they went, and I know it was only a friendly, but they went and beat Athlone on Saturday. I know they've had players missing. I was speaking to John the other week at a game last Wednesday. He says, we're bringing in players now. He says, but every time I seem to get one back, somebody else breaks down. He says, so I'm not really getting a good fist at it or a good run at it, which is going to be important because even when you look at the Premier and the First, the 2 leagues are very, very strong.
Yeah.
Where the 6 teams coming down and the 7 teams coming down, and obviously the top 3 for each conference last year, or the top 4, the first one's getting up. But I say it's going to be loads of twists and turns this season. I think a lot more than I think last year. Everybody knew it was like normally a 10th place finish or whatever's fine, or you're okay, you're in for next year. You're right with time to get the budget sorted. But last year, because so many went down, it was sort of a strange season. Really strange. Probably a few teams threw money at it probably to make sure they stayed up, and if that didn't go up, it's a full rebuilding job this year because some of the boys don't want to play in the Championship, no disrespect, or the Division 1. I want to stay in the Premier, and that's also why some players have obviously moved on.
Yeah, and you speak about that First Division. 4 games and every team scored. I think that league is just stacked full of competitive teams. We'll start with the game at Kilbirnie. Kilbirnie 4, Thornleywood United 3. Mark Alexander's last minute goal sealing the 3 points for Kilbirnie. But a lot of people thought that was a massive game over the weekend. I think that's 2 really good teams who'll be fighting out for promotion. Massive 3 points for Kilbirnie, and I keep thinking about the fact that they don't have any fans, so they don't have that kind of home support to rely on. But
Yeah,
scoring that last minute goal, that could be massive for them throughout the season.
it could be. What Thornley would need to take from that probably is they were one of the sides that basically got a double promotion. So they're obviously from when they sort of a conferences game, and I think they were 2-0 down and then they were 3-1 down and got back twice. The boy Ali Small for them seems to score goals a lot.
Goals every week. He's a regular feature on here, aye.
He scores goals all the time, but no disrespect to Thornleywood, but if you look at the teams in that, they've probably got the smallest budget, I would think, in that league.
I don't think they'll be far off, aye.
By a long stretch, and they've done well to keep. They've got the wee boy on loan, wee Kyle from Athley, wee younger boy right back, who I believe doing very, very well. They've got Adam Watt, a centre half that I had previously when I was at the Vale, who was a smashing player. Adam's a really nice boy, really good player. They're scoring goals, and as you say, if they keep scoring goals, they'll sort of they'll win games. See, it is a right tough division. It is a right tough division.
Absolutely stacked. And as you say, like scoring 3 goals at Kilbirnie, usually you're happy with that, but it just must have been a gut punch losing that last minute goal to Kilbirnie. But Mark Alexander again, he came for Greenock, terrific player. I do think Kilbirnie will be up there at the top of the table come the end of the season, and I think once they kind of get settled and get their fans back and just a proper kind of, I think they've struggled a bit with injuries as well, if I'm right. So
yeah, well, I think Thomas moved there at the tail end of last season. Basically, I think they were virtually already down. I think they had a wee spell.
Yeah, they had a really bad start. I think they lost their first 6 games, I think.
Yeah, so they came in, they changed things. I know they took a few from Greenock at that point as well. And then I think when they left, John Doyle originally went to Greenock, and then he went on to St Carroll. So Greenock sort of maybe they're in a transition. That's why their result happened as well. Sort of people moving on, and it'll be interesting. As I say, that is like for Thornleywood and I think Johnstone Burgh. They're both teams in it that sort of had the double promotion for the league that they were in previously. I think when you look at the gulf probably going from, because there's so many teams came down for the Premier as well, it is going to be a hard season. But I think if you speak to Mizzy and Dolby, they'll go, right, well, pick up points at home and give a fist it away from home, then so be it. We'll try and do our best and we'll just keep going, which is testament to them, to be honest. We came from the Royal Albert originally, then went to Thornleywood and had a right good season last year.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And again, that was I think if you could get into that game, I think you did get your money's worth. It was a terrific 7-goal thriller. But 6 goals between Drumchapel United and Whitlets. Whitlets have actually had a good start, winning the first 2 games, but obviously they've been unlucky. I think the last 2 games, I think they've come up against 2 really good teams in MacKay and Drumchapel. One of my friends who was at the Drumchapel game simply said it was a David Templeton masterclass. That he just ran the show, I think, and I think he's a massive player if he stays fit. But if you look at the players that have scored for Drumchapel this weekend, Jay McAnally for Maryhill, Martin Gray, and we know what he does. David Templeton's obviously the experience he's got. Daniel Finnegan obviously was really good for them last season. I think this could be a massive win for Drumchapel and just get them kind of a decent run going because it's been up and down so far.
We played Whitlets last year with Athley, and Athley's part, it was just a week, that was my first game with them, and I was actually only watching. I was going in on a Monday night, and I said to the boys, I'll come and watch. They were fantastic. They were really good. They've got big Isaac at the back, and the boy Boyd up front, and they're a really good unit. On bigger parks, I think they might struggle. I think they actually better home. I think Athley was a lot tighter, and they managed to get in their faces that day, and they've done that. I think maybe that the difference is going to the big Astro, and if you get a boy like Templeton's quality, he'll find these wee passes that McAnally, everybody knows he's at Maryhill, he's a willing runner, and he will run all day for you, and he'll keep going. And I think if Temp goes into that wee 10 pocket and picks up spaces and on the half turn with his quality, I think that I'm sure they'll score most weeks. I'd be very, very surprised if there's a week that goes by that the Drum don't score goals.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you've got that depth as well. You've got, I mean, McInally. I think I'm a huge fan of Jay McInally. I think he's a terrific player. Daniel Finnegan. It's just so much talent in the attacking. I think this league. I think though, I don't think you're going to see teams go on like a 3 or 4 match winning run because I think it's so tight.
Definitely. If you look at it, Petershill probably look at it and think to yourself, Petershill picked the Drum last year by a point. And if you look at both squads, you would probably say right now the Drum are probably more equipped to gain up. If you look at, I know that there was obviously a change. Lockie left, it was a sort of a shock where it came from, and everybody sort of had seen it coming, and then that sort of maybe knocked Petershill's preparations a wee bit. But if you look at the Drum and sort of the squad that they'd massed, then you can see why they're going to do well. You can see why, and you can also see a few of the ex-players now are at Glasgow United at Chelsea, old Chelsea as well,
Yeah.
and I think they'll do well. I know they didn't win Saturday with Mabel in the other division, which we'll come to, but I think sort of they had a great nucleus of squad last year, and that's going to continue. I think the Drum will certainly be one. As you say, it's hard when you look at that league. You can't pick a winner right
No,
now.
you
cannot pick a winner.
You can't, and I think this game and the next game we'll talk about as well. Johnstone Burgh 2, Neilston 1. Two teams that have started really well. Johnstone obviously a big win for them, winning at home to Neilston. Kieran Broford obviously, I think he played a huge role against his former team, and Dale and Gillespie with the 2 goals for Johnstone. But two very similar teams, I would say, but obviously a big win for Johnstone.
Yeah, massive win for Johnstone in terms of another team that was done the two sort of a double promotion. Basically into where Neilston was last year was as a championship side at that point. I think the boy Brophy's playing really well for Johnstone at the moment, Kieran. I think that what actually happened was he actually ended up playing the last 4 or 5 games last season as a trialist for Johnstone Burgh, the last few games, and he scored a couple of great goals and scored goals at sort of because I think they were one of the ones that were sort of on the cusp.
I think they were. I think it was between them and Craigmark and Whitlis, I think. Yeah,
it was them. So Arfleigh were Conference A winners, shots were second, and then there was a wee band and there wasn't much in it. It was like a point here or there. It went down sort of at the wire. And the wee Brophy and made a difference, and he's continued that. But I liked that, I think, because I seen on the social media that it was a Brophy masterclass against his old team. So he man's also went with fire in his belly and sort of I went, I'm going to go and prove a point. But Neilston, in fairness, lost. They lost the boy Bulger to Irvin Gorms at Irvin Meadow.
He went to Kilbirnie. I think he went to Kilbirnie.
Sorry, Kilbirnie with Gorms, and obviously they lost Brophy. So that was a big focal point in Neilson's team where they were tight at the back and they let the 2 young boys go and express themselves and cause a lot of damage. So obviously that's maybe where Neilson will be trying to try and strengthen, because when you're losing goals or you've lost goals out your side, it's hard to sometimes get that back. Even though Neilson, in fairness, have only lost 1 game, they're sitting second top of the league, so they will fancy themselves. But even where they're sitting, it was a great win for sort of Johnstone Burgh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Neilson as well. They've had a really good start. They were a team. I do agree with. I think the losing Connor Bulger and Kieran Brophy, I thought they were going to struggle, but they've proven me wrong so far. In Bill reports, I think they're aiming to finish at the top of the table. So again, I don't think you can have enough strikers in this division. So whether they can try and get another couple in, I don't know. But again, just a massive win for Johnstone Burgh, who I think have been. I keep saying about Jamie McKim, the job he's done there has been unbelievable.
Yeah, I've came up against Jamie a few times, won some, lost some. We've got a good relationship with me. I know he passed his C licence or his A licence. I think he's up to now, Jamie. Recently, the tail end of last year. So they're always well. What do they say about Johnstone Burgh? They're always very, very well organised. They're always even when they don't take many big downs, because they're sort of they all know their shape. They're all sort of pressing 1s and 2s. If he thinks it's on to sit in, Jamie, in fairness, will sit in and try and hit the break, and if he thinks it's on to go and be expansive, then he'll try. And he's sort of he's actually quite young, youngster. I think
I think so.
Relatively young as well. But as I say, he's doing really, really well. He's been there for a few times. I remember we played Johnstone last year and we spoke to the committee, and he's like, gone are the days at Johnson now where the teams like Nielsen and maybe Athley and Pop for doing a bit come and just take all the best players. He says it's happened for too long, and Johnson they were massive years ago, and then sort of went down to the bottom division, they went sort of maybe a year up, a year down, and sort of never really had a consistency. But because I think Jamie's been picked with a few other positions, a couple of jobs at that time in the higher leagues, and in fairness to Jamie, he stayed loyal and went, no, I believe in the project that I'm trying to do here, and I'm going to stick with that, which is credit to him as well. It's not always about going away, because I think he was big favourite to take a Renfrew job at one point last year,
right,
or the year before, which was a couple of divisions, yeah, difference, and he could have went up a couple of divisions, maybe a bigger budget, and maybe try to implement his style of play on a nice big Astro and various bits and pieces. But in fairness to him, he stayed, and that's always good to see as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the final result in the first division was Rossvale 1, Cumbernauld 1. Rossvale been badly needing a point after the start. Cumbernauld have started really well. They're sitting top of the league, so a bit a kind of even game by all reports. I think Rossvale
If
took
you'd
the
looked
lead.
at it before the game, you'd have felt Cumbernauld win, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Rossvale, I've went through a wee transition as well. Jamie Sanderland's left, and Kevin Kelly came in with somebody else, but I believe it's just Kevin now. I believe that's where I changed there, and Kevin's now the manager. I think he was your assistant before. So
I think there's a co-manager thing. I think I was right in saying I think there was a
I thought that as well, and then I was talking to somebody over the weekend, and he said that the co-manager didn't really work out, and it's only Kevin that said at the moment.
I think I think there is a lot of problems behind the scenes. Like I've heard that. I think there's a lot going on that I don't think is good for a team's morale, shall we say.
No. Well, unfortunately for Kevin, he went in there, all the players left, and he had to try and build a team. So that's going to take time. But as we've said, getting their first point against Cumnock, which is fantastic. But if you look at in that league, I don't think that's a league where you're going to get, as you said, 4 or 5 games to find your feet.
No.
You're very fortunate. They went and got a point, and hopefully they can take some credit for that. Kevin, as everybody knows, is not the best 18 months in terms of what happened off the field, and he needs something maybe to just take his mind off and be a good distraction for him. So there's nothing but praise for Kevin, and I wish him all the best this year. I hope this year's not overly hard on him, because he's sort of what's happened for him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He's a fantastic guy. We'll move into the second division. Craigmark, they're off to a flying start. 4 straight wins. They won 3-1 at home to Glasgow Perthshire. I just think Craigmark they're flying at the moment. I've always said I think it's between them and Renfrew in that division this season.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. I know Craigmark last year, as I said, they touched on, they were very unlucky in terms of, I think they just get picked sort of at the last game. We played them, and the boy Ryan Caddish, who was the manager, played up front. What a difference he makes. Still very good. He's big, he's aggressive, he holds it in, he'll help the young boys, and I think they're the only team probably that's played 4 or 1 4. I don't think anybody else.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think Yoker won their first 3. Have won their first 3 games, but obviously Craigmark had the game advantage, and they've took advantage of it. So obviously with Craigmark, I think they are kind of stacked in terms of talent. The likes of Jordan Ryan, Stephen Tan, they've got a lot of good players in that team. And you mentioned obviously the manager, his experience will be key.
Yeah, definitely. It's a hard place to go to, Craigmark. It's a really hard place. They utilise the park well. They can play, but they can mix it. And they'll probably have to with some of the teams in that league as well. And it's been a great start for them. It's been a really, really good start.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybole as well, they've had a good start as well. They beat Glasgow United 1-0. They obviously had a fight. They scored 5 away from home last week and obviously didn't win the game. But again, they'll be happy with the 3 points at home.
Yeah, we scored 5 last week and don't win the game. You go the following week and get a clean sheet. So that's you went and worked all week in training and went, right, what are we doing wrong? Right, let's try and keep. I think there's only a couple of clean sheets, but it's very rare you get a clean sheet at this level, to be honest. It's very rare. Certainly with some of the teams, I've always got a wee gem somewhere that can come from anywhere. But as you say, going those 5 goals 1 week to then go and get a clean sheet, which is fantastic for them. And I'm sure it's still Carlo Walker, it's the manager.
Yeah, he's been there a while, yeah. I think there's a few good teams as well. Mick McCann coming in as well, his experience. He scored 4 last week. I don't know the scorer from this week. I haven't got that yet. But again, they've got a few players up there. Robert Patterson, they've got good players in that team.
Yeah, they have. A few of them came in last year, and I think they were one of the ones at one point, and they were in Conference A with us as well last year, and they were close. They weren't ever out it in terms of until the last 5 weeks of the season. They were close and still sort of on the tails of what it turned out to be Johnstone Burgh in the end up. But as I say, there was quite a few tough games in that league last year, and sort of Mabel made it very, very tough for us. I think we were 2-0 down to them at one point.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that was the time. I think a lot of people thought the unbeaten one would come to an end.
Yeah, I think 2-0 down, and Andy Keeler saved a penalty. I think we went 3-2 up, and Scooby saved a penalty very late in the game, and sort of the boy McCann that day played well. I'm sure it's your boy with the beard up front.
Yeah,
He settled the game. You could see he's played at a high level, and he had a good game awareness about him. And sort of if they've got some young boys coming through, that Carl normally has as well, somebody's experienced like that was doing well and served the young boys well.
yeah, absolutely. The final game of that second division, Wishaw 2, Forth 2. All reports it was a back and forth game. Both teams had chances to win it. I think Forth came closest. I think they missed a sitter right at the end, if I believe.
I spoke to Wee Thomas. I speak to Wee Thomas a lot. I played with Wee Thomas at Forth a long time ago now, and asked him how he was getting on. And I've seen that they've brought Chris Jarvie back to Bellshill because they say they're just lacking. They lost Billy Stevenson to Kilbirnie, the big boy played up front during the season. He's went. So Chris Jarvie's back. I think Chris is about 42 now, but the goals don't move for Chris. The people, he just comes alive in the box, and I hope Forth do well. I've also had a soft spot for them after playing with them, and Thomas that I played with there and John McCormack and that are up at Forth are really nice guys, and they work tirelessly for a very small place. And they were another one we had a really good chat with them. We were up there last year, and they've got plans for their own place, and like a new fences going in and trying to sort of update the facilities, which can only help.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're in a good league as well, which a lot of teams is evenly matched. I think that'll quite quickly. I think that'll become 2 leagues. I think at one point this year, that division. I think people like Craigmark and maybe even maybe stretch a lead over some of the other sides. But I think it could end up a wee 2-leaguer, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that could be another really interesting league. The third division, Vale of Clyde going to Cumnock and winning 5-0 with Thomas and Clare scoring a hat trick. That's a massive result for them.
Yeah, massive. I was 4 years at the Vale, and I still talk to some of the boys. It was a great result. I feel a wee bit for Paul Davis at the moment at Kilbirnie. We played him in a pre-season friendly, and they won 6-1 on the day. And with it being horrible, at times it could have been more.
Right.
So I think Kilbirnie could be in for a hard season, to be honest, unfortunately. But you never know the circumstances. Thomas Sinclair should not be playing in that league. There's no. If you look at the Vale's recruitment this year, they've went and done well, to be honest. As I say, I still speak to some of the committee guys, and they went and recruited well. I know Kevin Turner's been injured, but he came for he was in the Lowland League last year with Stirling.
Yeah.
But he dropped 3 divisions. I know he was at the Vale previously when I was there, and he came back. Kieran Christie was obviously could have went to the Premiership with Cambuslang, but came back. So the Vale have, I know they've not the best of starts. I think they've won 3 actually, and only lost 1. I think they lost the first one to Lanark, who were on a good one as well. I'll say Lanark of 5-5. So from that, it'll be interesting. That's another league. I think there's a wee group of 7 or 8 sides that are good in that league. But if I'm right in saying there's potentially 7 get relegated for that league this year.
But I think there could be. I think it's down to. It all depends on how many come down from the Lowland League. I think if 2 come down from the Lowland, I think 7 can go down.
Yeah, I think the way it goes with the Scotland Constitution, I think that league is potentially going back to 16 teams, and it's 19 at the moment. So it depends on like last year, because I think if Craigmark last year would have got promoted, I think if Darvel would have won it, if Darvel would have went up in the playoff, then only 6 would have come down and 1 more would have went up to make it up. So I think that's the same way sort of it can filter into this league. Bang, there could be a potential 6 or 7 come down for that league to the division at sort of a 4 that we're in at the moment. So that's going to be interesting, because that's a lot of sides in that sort of I know some have no great starts and stuff, but that when you're looking at the season and you're looking at going, there's 6 or 7 going down, similar to the Premiership last year, and it became very, very interesting. I think that could be a long season for some, but we always knew with the pyramid and the way the leagues were done, it was going to take maybe another year or two, sort of like to filter itself out, and sort of that will happen over a period of time. But like, unfortunately for teams like Kilbirnie and Royal Albert, they're already 15 points behind Lanark and Kelly.
Yeah, I
That's
think
a massive jump already.
Yeah, I mean, Lesmahagow beating Saltcoats 3-0. I mean, 2 weeks ago, Lesmahagow lost 8-0 to home to Irvine Vic, so they bounced back pretty well. I think they've won the last 2.
Yeah, that was a shock when we seen that.
I didn't see that coming. I know Irvine Vics have improved a lot, but I didn't see that result coming. But again, the bounce back they've had has been really good.
I'm sure Lesmahagow, I know it was a 2-day tournament during pre-season, but they beat Cumnock something like that.
Yeah, I think they did, aye.
They gave me right going over, and obviously I didn't see that. Irvine, we played them last year, and I was very impressed. It's like the McDuff, I think the manager's name is. His boy Fraser plays, and once again they're very organised. They're hard to break down. They're going to do well, which is great, because for a couple of years they weren't great, to be honest, and there was a few teams that were sort of struggling a wee bit at the bottom. But obviously they've came this year. They're trying to maybe they've managed to get a wee team together, and they've got good players going, and obviously they're sitting. I think they've played 5, won 4, lost 1, so that's a great start for them. It's an absolutely great start.
Absolutely. One team that I thought would do better than they have, and I think this was the result of the weekend. I didn't see this coming at all. East Kilbride Thistle 1, Larkhall Thistle 6. That's a massive result. I know, obviously, you look at like East Kilbride Thistle, they brought in the likes of Sean Winter, Barry Russell. They've got some really good players in that team with a lot of experience. I didn't see that result coming. Massive credit to Larkhall for that. And Connor Fair's getting a hat trick. He's just started the season really well also.
I think most people, when you look at it, will look at East Kilbride, and when you, as you say, the boys they signed, it seemed to be a recent rock star. And I think Jama went there as well. Jamie Longmuir, is it Longmuir?
Thanks. Yeah, I think so.
Jamie, and they've only won 1 in 6. Now I know it's Gary's first year. He was involved with the East Kilbride Colts previously. Like that he was. I know he was on the committee, and Gary's another one I know very well, and I hope they can turn it round. I know they've only lost 2 games right enough, and they've had a few draws in that, and it's basically trying to put a new team together. Obviously, Alan Patterson, everybody's well aware, was sort of got attacked at a night out and sort of left him in a bad way. And I wish Alan all the best as well. Alan's another guy that I speak to very well and I'm quite close with. So it's been a wee bit of an upheaval, but I think what they'll just need to go, and Gary will settle them down, and they'll get into a run of games, and they'll hopefully get a sort of a player understanding with everybody, and they can go, because ultimately they've got very, very good quality in their squad. The boys that signed are very, very good. Very, very good. Sometimes though, if they dropped in 2 divisions and just went off, I was Gustas, I was at the Rock for 3 years, and I was playing the Championship. I've dropped to Division 3, 2 leagues down, just gone there for a coast, and I hope that's not the case, because we've all seen that, players go down and I'll just turn up and it'll be fine. And Gary will be working hard. He's always on the phone, and he's always trying to make things better, and he's done wonders for the club as a whole. East Kilbride, that was another one who was a big reputation and sort of dwindled away for a wee bit, but they've fixed the park. I believe the park's looking very, very well. They had summer camps on, and they're doing lots of things for the community. So hopefully Gary can sort of cut a wee results and turn that round.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about a massive credit to Larkhall as well, going there and winning 6-1. They had a terrific start. We'll move into Division 4. Obviously, Easterhouse played Campbellton, but BSC Glasgow beat Glenvale 2-1. What was that kind of result like when you heard that?
To be honest, we played the 2 of them in the 2 previous weeks. To be honest, BSC beat us. I was really, hopefully boy don't watch it, but I was really impressed with BSC's 9 when we played them on the day. He worked to a full back 4, he held it in when he had to hold it in, he ran the line, don't get me wrong, he ended up getting crammed about 70 times. I don't know if that was trying to just break up the play or get his team of points, and fairness, the boys scored 2 goals that day as well. I think certainly scored a penalty later on, but I thought he was very good. I thought he was really, really good that day. I thought they utilised him well, PSG. I still think we didn't perform on the day, and it's all credit to them. But I think that's the same. Like, people looking at BSC for last year, who didn't have a great season, but they probably had the same issues that we had at the moment in terms of they were an amateur. I think they were an amateur team, or sort of threw a team late together when they get joined into the league, and takes a wee bit of time. But they've now got their own facility. I think last year they were sort of all over the place, but now they've got Petershill Park just at York Mill Road, and they're probably getting a wee bit of a home and a bit of identity for them, which is probably needed. But no, I was impressed. I thought that when we played BSC, the 3 players that I thought done really, really well in the game. One of the wee wide men was very good and took the ball very well and carried it well. Centre forward worked very hard, and he's another boy in the middle of the park. But I wouldn't say he was technically brilliant, but what he done is he worked so hard, and he went into tackles and put his head in where people want to put their feet sometimes, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to just roll up the sleeves and win the battle for 60 minutes and then earn the right to play football.
Yeah.
But no, I think he'll do well. It'll be strange. See teams, and we touched on earlier on about sort of like grass parks and that. It'll be very, very strange because you definitely play differently for the grass to the astro. So if you've got a home grass park, you're used to it. Teams will know how to deal with it and how to play it. And then if you're coming for astro, then onto a grass.
So Mark, with Easterhouse towards the kind of end of the season, like what's the kind of plans? Like obviously, is it a case of kind of getting a few wins on the board as soon as possible and hopefully building towards a successful season?
Yeah, I think that the most important thing for us at the moment was, because it was sort of a late when we got accepted in various bits and pieces, you get a team on the park that's going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
We get a team on the park, so we know it's going to take time. You want to win. Everybody wants to win. I came home and it doesn't matter if you see, I'm part of a project, and some of the boys are going, look, we need to build, and we know we need to build, and that's fantastic. It doesn't stop you coming in on Saturday night and absolutely fuming because you want to win games, and it's all right. You've got a great opportunity, and we know it's going to take time. So, as I say, you want to win games. So we've got, I believe, a very good academy in terms of the 19s and the 20s, which have got a lot of good players in it. And it might be the case where we get to cut a wins on the board, or hopefully, and then break it down and go, right, turn their attention to the next season already, and go, right, where are we going to be in 12 months?
Yeah.
Where are we going to be? Right, let's see where we are. Of course, you want to win as many games as possible. That's why we play football. As I said earlier on, I think if you'd have got a point against Glenville, you'd have won on Saturday, you're sitting at 4 points. It's totally different. We'll go and try and win every game of football we play this year. Of course we will, that's the nature of it, but there has to be a realisation as well that we are only, I think we're 8 weeks old as a team. That is it. So we're still trying to find our feet, and we still do silly things. And I say that to the boys, what's happening at the moment is, football for me is about percentages at times. What's happening at the moment is we're getting to the byline, and there's 5 times you should cut it back, and 5 times you should cross it. The 5 times you should cross it, we're cutting it back, and the 5 times you should cut it back, we're crossing it. And I said to the boys, I said, look lads, we are striving to get 10 out of 10 correct at all times. Of course we are. We don't want to do that. You want to get 10 out of 10. I says, but ultimately, if you get 10 out of 10 every week, no disrespect to Easterhouse, you're not there.
Yeah.
You're not there. That's why people are at Auchinleck and they've been so successful. Pollocks, Darvos, Arthurley last year. That's why these boys are there, because their decision making. That's the only difference, I think, between the leagues. That you'll get a goal scorer and all that, but it's decision making. And when that decision making, so what I've said to the boys and what we need to strive for is, when we can start getting the percentages right, or 6 or 7 right out of 10 every other week or every week, then we'll pick up points, we'll win games. So, you know yourself, everybody's done it. You're standing at the side of the park and the centre forward goes 1-on-1 and he takes a touch and he doesn't score. Why do you not hit it first time? He hits it first time, the next time and doesn't score, and you go, why do you not take a touch? Just because he didn't score. So we can get the percentages right and we can get we're winning first tackles and we're winning second balls and things that we need to do, then we'll be fine. But I think there's just even for myself, I feel like you're trying to go in and you're trying to be positive and you're trying to be positive, and there's a nervousness until you get that first win. I think the first point takes a wee bit of, right, you can relax, we got a point, we should have got more out of the game, but we didn't. Right, so we break it down, right, where do we go next? Right, next game, let's get ourselves ready for Thorn. So we play Thorn in the league in the 3rd of September, and then we play Cumnock, I think it is, in the South of Scotland after that. So that'll be a different challenge. Team that I know nobody's going to Cumnock to watch them, so I'll know nothing about. They're going to come down and they'll know nothing about us, we'll know nothing about them. So it's sort of a hit to nothing. We've got Rob Roy in the other cup. We've also got Rosshall from our league in a cup as well. So we've got a few cup competitions coming up as well, which takes a wee bit of pressure off the boys and they can relax, because ultimately you want to just win games. We want to win games.
Yeah. Well, we're wishing you all the best for the season ahead, Mark. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much for joining me.
No bother at all. Thank you very much, Scott.
Pleasure. Thank you very much to everyone that's tuned in. Please follow us on social media and our podcast and YouTube pages. And we'll see you all soon for another episode. Cheers.